Hello there, a very good evening and welcome to another edition of Primetime News on TV1. I'm Charlotte Benedict for the Newsfirst team.
And I'm Hashni Patirana. First up is a look at your headlines for tonight.
Trump imposes a visa ban on 12 nations and new tax law puts pressure on Elon Musk. President warns officials, change or be changed. Shashendra Rajapaksa testifies on Chinese fertilizer ship. Duminda Dissanayake remanded again. Officials accused of illegally issuing passports to underworld figures remanded again as authorities launch a forensic audit. SJB faces setback in Columbo.
Onto those stories in detail now. Foreign media reported that Tesla could take a hit if President Donald Trump's big, beautiful bill becomes law. Many of Elon Musk's companies rely largely on federal regulations, subsidies or contracts. That means the GOP's federal spending bill, if signed into law, could directly affect his business.
Elon Musk's sharp criticism for Trump's bill comes just days after he officially left his position as the de facto head of the Doge office, ending his formal work at the White House. In recent weeks, both Trump and Musk have looked to assure the public that their relationship remains intact even if they disagree on some issues. The White House press secretary Caroline Leavitt said in a briefing on Tuesday that the president already knew where Musk stood on the spending bill and that the Tesla CEO's recent remarks criticizing it wouldn't change Trump's stance. The bill, which champions Trump's agenda, includes cuts to Medicaid and extension of the tax cuts that the president signed into law during his first term in 2017. It also includes administration priorities, including removing taxes on tips and overtime. In regard to the companies Musk leads, the bill could have a mixed impact. While Tesla stands to lose, companies such as SpaceX and XAI may benefit from the president's massive spending bill. The bill, as written, makes big changes to the Biden-era EV tax credits, which are intended to encourage more Americans to buy electric vehicles. It would largely phase out the clean vehicle credit, which lets people buying a new EV claim up to $7,500 and up to $4,000 for used EVs. Electric vehicles would no longer qualify for the tax credit if the automaker sold more than 200,000 previously qualifying EVs between the 31st of December 2009 and the 31st of December 2025, if the bill became law. Tesla delivered more than 336,000 vehicles in the first quarter of 2025 alone. The expedited elimination of the EV tax credit would be the biggest area that could impact Tesla. The tax credit elimination could lead to a decrease in sales volume, which the automaker has been struggling with.
US President Donald Trump resurrected a hallmark policy of his first term, announcing that citizens of 12 countries would be banned from visiting the United States and those from 7 others would face restrictions. Now Trump, who signaled plans for a new ban upon taking office in January, appears to be on firmer ground this time after the Supreme Court sided with him.
US President Donald Trump signed a proclamation banning citizens of 12 countries from entering the United States, saying the move was needed to protect against foreign terrorists and other security threats. The directive is part of an immigration crackdown Trump launched this year at the start of his second term, which has also included the deportation to El Salvador of hundreds of Venezuelans suspected of being gang members, as well as efforts to deny enrollments of some foreign students and deport others. The countries affected by the latest travel ban are Afghanistan, Myanmar, Chad, Congo, Equatorial Guinea, Eritrea, Haiti, Iran, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, and Yemen. The entry of people from 7 other countries, Burundi, Cuba, Laos, Sierra Leone, Togo, Turkmenistan and Venezuela will be partially restricted. The proclamation is effective from the 9th of June. Visas issued before that date will not be revoked.
On to some local news now. President Kumara Dissanayake emphasized that no one can shirk the responsibility of restoring Sri Lanka's damaged ecosystems, calling for a complete overhaul of both political and administrative systems to meet the challenge.
අපිට ඉතාමත් හොඳ ජෛව පද්ධතියක් හිමි වී තිබුණු රාජ්‍යයේ මේ පරිසර පද්ධතිය සහ එහි වෙසෙන ජීවීන් අතර විශාල ගැටුමක් නිර්මාණය කළා.
We are a country blessed with a rich biodiversity, but now we face conflict between our ecosystems and the species that inhabit them. Therefore, we who live today have an inescapable responsibility and duty to restore this ecosystem. We have laws. We have a state mechanism to enforce them. The public is aware and engaged. Yet we have failed to prevent this destruction. At the root of this destruction lies political authority. Look around. Many of our sand extraction sites are owned either by politicians or their close associates. Our rock quarries owned by politicians or those under political protection. Our deforestation driven by politics. The governor knows who is behind illegal mining. Political authority. This political authority has significantly contributed to the environmental tragedy we face today. Some even openly admit it. Some officials have willingly submitted to it, either to get closer to the minister or to protect their positions. Otherwise, why would someone risk everything? This is how our administrative machinery has sometimes been subdued, sometimes compromised. I know what happened to those who resisted. So if we are to breathe life back into our motherland, political authority must become a giver of life, not a destroyer. As the head of political authority, I give you that assurance. You do your part. Next is our administrative machinery. Sometimes public criticism is directed at political leadership, but parts of the old administrative system have failed to break free from outdated habits. That's why we still encounter corrupt officials at the RMV. That's why we find immigration officers who issued passports to underworld figures. That's why we find customs officers who helped smuggle illegal goods. That's why we find environmental officials who issued permits without proper oversight, especially in the mining and excavation sectors. I'm not saying everyone is complicit, but if we are to bring about transformation, we as political authority will give our full support, again and again. And I believe the time has come for the administrative system to break from the past and embrace change. I repeat, change. Be ready to change. If not, rest assured, you will be changed.
මම නැවත අවධාරණය කරන්නේ වෙනස් වෙන සූදානම් නැත්නම් සාහතික වශයෙන් වෙනස් කරනවා.
This year's global theme, Beat Plastic Pollution, was locally echoed through the campaign Dalulanna Ida Denna. The event took place along Kegol's Independence Avenue, drawing participation from environmentalists, students and local communities. A significant highlight of the ceremony was the formal handover of the documents to the President declaring the Nikkadupala stream, which flows through Galapitamada, Rappitigala, Habugoda and Minipura Koladeniya, as a protected sanctuary. This area is the only known habitat of the endemic Bandulapetia fish species. Additionally, the President received the official gazette notifications designating Nilgala and 3 other forest areas as protected reserves. Under the Clean Sri Lanka initiative, the President also awarded certificates to the country's top eco-friendly model schools and the best green railway stations. Following the formal proceedings, President Dissanayaka engaged warmly with attendees, shaking hands, chatting with children and posing for photos with families.
A World Environment Day event took place along the Batharamulla alternate road, where a special reforestation initiative was launched under the leadership of the Ministry of Highways and Road Development Authority. The campaign focused on planting 100 trees, including native species such as mee trees, to enhance urban greenery and promote environmental sustainability.
This year's World Environment Day theme, Beat Plastic Pollution, resonates deeply with Sri Lanka, a country still grappling with the aftermath of one of the worst maritime environmental disasters in recent history. The theme brings to mind the Express Pearl maritime disaster, which occurred 4 years ago, releasing nearly 2,000 metric tons of plastic pellets into the sea of Sri Lanka.
The incident is widely regarded as one of the largest oceanic plastic pollution events in modern history. Now, as the world focuses on reducing plastic waste, Sri Lanka's experience stands as a stark reminder of the urgent need for stronger environmental safeguards, better waste management, and global accountability.
Your Honour, the harmful consequences of the chemical spill from the MV Express Pearl, which caught fire and was destroyed in Sri Lankan waters, are not limited to the present. They will continue to affect the Sri Lankan people well into the future.
This statement was recorded in the Supreme Court on the 5th of February 2025. It was made by Counsel Himali Kularatna during the hearing of fundamental rights petitions filed in response to the damage caused to the marine environment and fishing communities by the Express Pearl disaster. Although the full extent of this massive destruction cannot be measured in rupees or dollars, an estimated loss of $6.4 billion has been calculated so far. Even after 4 years, no effective outcome has been achieved regarding this matter. The ship arrived from India's Hazira port on the 15th of May 2021. It was carrying 25 tons of nitric acid along with 1,486 containers of other chemicals and cosmetic products. On the 19th of May 2021, the ship was halted 9.5 nautical miles off the coast near the Columbo port. The fire broke out on the 20th of May. However, it was later revealed that a nitric acid leak had occurred even before that. Permission had been sought to offload the leaking container at India's Hazira port and Qatar's Hamad port, but both ports denied the request. The reason given was that neither port had the necessary technology to handle such hazardous containers. So, did the Columbo port have these facilities? Despite knowing that nitric acid was leaking from 2 containers, no action was taken for 9 days, as revealed in investigations. At the time, the minister in charge of the port visited the control room and gave instructions to extinguish the fire. We saw this happen. 13 days after the fire began, the ship sank. In addition to nitric acid, the ship carried numerous containers of plastic pellets used as raw material for plastic production. These were released into the Sea of Sri Lanka, our Sea of Sri Lanka. It is estimated that at least 1,680 metric tons of plastic pellets entered the sea this way. Fish, turtles and dolphins began to wash ashore, dead or dying. More than 200 dead turtles were found at various locations. The damage caused is beyond monetary value. According to reports, the only known expenditures so far are the compensation paid to fishermen and the cost of cleaning the coastline. However, former Justice Minister Vijayadasa Rajapaksa revealed that a bribe of $250 million had been offered. The Criminal Investigation Department submitted a confidential report on this to the Supreme Court. The issue of compensation remains unresolved. Legal proceedings are ongoing in Sri Lanka. There are also legal proceedings in Singapore. However, the Attorney General's Department has stated that the case in Singapore has now been suspended. The reason: the shipping company obtained a court order from a British court to limit the compensation. It has also been revealed that a large volume of data and emails from the ship's system were deliberately deleted after the fire. Meanwhile, the ship, which had been broken into parts, has now been removed. British Petroleum agreed to pay $4 billion in criminal penalties to the US government as part of a settlement for its role in the 2010 Deepwater Horizon oil spill in the Gulf of Mexico. $550 million was paid to the Suez Canal Authority for the recent Ever Given blockage. How did the Express Pearl incident end up like this? Did someone profit from the destruction of the Express Pearl? Is that why Sri Lanka has still not received fair compensation? These are questions that must be investigated. They must be investigated urgently. This massive marine environmental disaster must not be allowed to fade away with time.
Former State Minister Shashindra Rajapaksa appeared before the Bribery Commission today.
Former State Minister Shashindra Rajapaksa appeared before the Bribery Commission today to provide a statement regarding the Chinese fertilizer ship incident. He provided his statement for approximately 6 hours.
I am thankful for this program carried out by the government and the official of the Bribery Commission. They had very intelligently analyzed this incident and they posed intelligent questions to me. There were several opinions regarding the import of organic fertilizer, but this is not the true story. I clarified the facts regarding this story. We will fully support these investigations in the future as well.
Mount Lavinia Magistrate Chaturika De Silva today ordered that former Minister and Sri Lanka Freedom Party General Secretary Duminda Dissanayake, along with 3 other suspects, be remanded until the 19th of June. The order follows the discovery of a gold-coloured T-56 assault rifle at the Havelock City apartment complex in Vellavatta. The suspects were arrested in connection with the incident, which is under investigation by the Terrorism Investigation Division. During today's court proceedings, President's Counsel Sampath Mendis, appearing for Dissanayake, drew the magistrate's attention to an affidavit submitted by a TID sub-inspector to obtain a search warrant. According to the affidavit, a suspect in custody claimed during interrogation that a yellow and black travel bag previously located at number 56 Skeleton Road, Columbo 5 was later found in a room belonging to the first suspect at the Elibank Tower in Havelock City, Columbo 6. However, the suspect, who is a cook, reportedly said that he was unaware of the bag's content. President's Counsel Mendis pointed out inconsistencies between the affidavit and a subsequent TID report, which claimed that the bag containing the firearm was handed over by the third suspect to the first suspect. The affidavit did not mention the presence of a firearm in the bag, raising questions about the reliability of the statements. Mendis emphasized that the statements made by the first, second and third suspects were contradictory and questionable. A previous court order had authorized a search of Duminda Disanayake's residence in Anuradhapura. TID officers reported that nothing suspicious was found, although they were unable to open a safe due to the absence of a key. Investigators also discovered several airline tickets purchased online by Disanayake's brother inside the same bag that allegedly contained the firearm. These tickets are now part of the ongoing investigation. TID officers informed the court that they intend to seek advice from the Attorney General as soon as the investigation concludes. Due to the potential for interference with the investigation, the magistrate denied bail for all suspects and ordered that they be produced in court again on the 19th of June. Duminda Dissanayake was arrested on the 23rd of May. A senior assistant controller of the Department of Immigration and Immigration, along with 2 others, were remanded until tomorrow in connection with the alleged creation of a forged passport for a notorious organized crime figure reportedly hiding in Dubai, Kehel Baddara Padme. Colombo Chief Magistrate Tanuja Lakmali said that an order on the suspect's bail application will be delivered tomorrow. According to the Criminal Investigation Department, statements have been recorded from 9 immigration officers believed to have been involved in the passport issuance process. Investigators also obtained a statement from the registered owner of the mobile SIM card used to send the photograph for the forged passport. Further statements were recorded from managers of 2 private companies responsible for the passport issuance software as part of the ongoing probe. Authorities have seized mobile phones and computers from the suspects which have been sent to the government analyst for forensic examination. Investigators are also reviewing all passports issued by the Assistant Controller since the beginning of his tenure to identify any additional irregularities. A comprehensive forensic audit of all the passport issuance systems is being planned, with technical support from the University of Moratuwa. Due to the ongoing nature of the investigation and the need to prevent interference, the CID requested that the suspects remain in remand custody. President's counsel Sarath Jayamana, appearing for the Assistant Controller, argued that no new evidence had been presented since the previous hearing and requested bail, stating that his client had no ability to interfere with the technical aspects of the investigation. Attorneys representing the other two suspects also submitted bail applications. After reviewing the submissions, the Chief Magistrate ordered that all three suspects remain in custody until a final order on bail is made tomorrow.
News First with the people.
Across the nation, talents and dreams are ready to shine. Introducing new faces and extraordinary performances from every corner. We proudly present some of the finest rising stars.
Duffy Crown Season 2.
June 7th onwards, every Saturday and Sunday at 8:30 p.m. only on Shakti TV.
Welcome back to the news. A potentially catastrophic train collision was narrowly avoided in Moratuwa thanks to the quick thinking and vigilance of two people. What could have been a major disaster was averted due to their timely attention and decisive action, preventing what might have been a tragic incident along the railway line.
A section of the railway track near the coastal line in Moratuwa Modara was found damaged this morning. A local resident, Samantha Fernando, noticed the broken rail at around 7 a.m. Realizing the potential danger, he acted immediately. This incident serves as a powerful reminder that vigilance can prevent major disasters. The General Secretary of the Locomotive Operating Engineers Union explained the situation.
The signal near the halted train was showing green, which normally means the track is clear. That's a serious issue. Train drivers rely on signals, and a green light should mean there are no obstructions ahead. But in this case, the second train was given a green signal while another train was still on the track. Thankfully, the driver saw the train ahead and stopped in time. We've raised concerns with the department as this kind of signal failure puts passengers, staff and property at risk. We are demanding a full review and verification of the signal system.
Newsfirst also reached out to Railways General Manager Dhammika Jayasundara, who confirmed that the damaged rail has been repaired and a team has been appointed to investigate the signal system for any faults.
Patients were left distressed as 5 categories of allied health professionals, including medical laboratory technicians and pharmacists, launched a strike.
A nationwide strike by 5 categories of allied health professionals, including medical laboratory technicians, pharmacists, physiotherapists, audiology technicians and speech therapists, caused widespread disruption to hospital services across Sri Lanka. The strike began at 8 a.m. with professionals demanding urgent solutions to 5 key issues. These include delays in promotions and the failure to recruit graduates from recognized health science facilities into the public service. The strike impacted operations in many hospitals, particularly in the distribution of medication and other essential services. At the Kurunagala Teaching Hospital, patients expressed deep frustration over the situation.
ගන්න සල්ලි දීපන් කියලා. උන් ඔක්කොම බේත් දෙන්න ස්ට්‍රයික් කළේ. දරුවට උණ ගැනිලා දැන් දවස් 5යි. ඊට මාවතම හොස්පිටල් ගියාට පස්සේ කියනවා ලේ බලන්න දෙන්න පහසුකම් නැහැ කියලා. ඊට ජාතික රෝහලට ආව කුරුණෑ කළා. දැන් මේ චිට්ටි අලියලා දෙන්න මේ බෙහෙත් ගන්න පිටින් කියලා. ලේක බලන්න කියපුවාම කියන ස්ට්‍රයික් කියලා. ඉතින් ස්ට්‍රයික් නම් ගෙවල්ලා ඉන්න අපරෝට මේවා ලයිට් බිල් පුච්චගෙන කයි එක ගන්න මේ රූම් වලට වෙලා. නේද? අපරාධනේ අපේ ධනෙනේ.
The Health Minister responded to the ongoing strike by allied health professionals following an inspection tour at the Tambutegama Base Hospital.
This strike is clearly being driven by political motives. If their intention is to disrupt the healthcare system, we are not willing to negotiate under those terms. We are always ready to resolve issues through discussion. Within just 4 months of taking office, we implemented a basic salary increase for all public sector employees, including those in the health sector. From May onwards, we also began increasing overtime and other allowances. Annual salary increments have been enhanced as well. These benefits will continue to improve in line with economic growth. Therefore, I urge these professionals not to misuse their union power in any way that harms patients and weakens the healthcare system. This is not a game. They've already begun calling for 24 hours to 48-hour strikes every week or two. We are prepared to face this, but I ask them to return to work first. Then we can talk.
An extraordinary Gazette notification has officially announced the dates for the inaugural sessions of several local government bodies where no single party holds a majority, including the Columbo Municipal Council. According to the Gazette, the first meeting of the newly elected Columbo Municipal Council is scheduled to take place on the 16th of June at 9:30 a.m. With no party securing a clear majority in the Columbo Municipal Council, the question of who will control the council remains open. The United National Party said that it is willing to support any group capable of forming a stable administration within the council.
The Samagi Jana Balawegya has reiterated its confidence in securing control of the Columbo Municipal Council by forming a coalition with other opposition groups, including the United National Party.
It's clear the opposition led by the SJB has secured a majority in the Columbo Municipal Council. I can confidently say this without any doubt.
Meanwhile, the UNP has stated that it is willing to support any group capable of forming a stable administration in order to avoid a governance deadlock within the council.
As far as I know, anyone who aligns with the vision of Ranil Wickremesinghe will receive our support. We are committed to ensuring the Columbo Municipal Council functions smoothly and does not descend into chaos.
The Tamil Progressive Alliance, which is aligned with the opposition, also weighed in on the matter.
There's clearly a tug-of-war happening over the control of the CMC. No party has secured the required 50% majority, so no new laws can be passed. The government had the chance to reform the Local Government Act but didn't. Under the current law, coalitions can still form a government. So both sides will have to work together.
However, concerns have been raised by civil society groups about transparency in the selection of the new mayor.
People voted for Dr. Ruwais Hanifa, a respected and educated medical professional, to be mayor. But now, there are attempts to appoint someone linked to the parking mafia, Riza Saruk, as mayor. We are asking Sajid Premadasa, Ranjit Madhuma Bandara and others to clarify this. If they haven't seen the report, we are ready to present it to the opposition leader's office.
In contrast, the Democratic National Alliance, or the DNA, which also contested the local government elections, claims the opposition will not be able to form a majority.
The main opposition is trying to cobble together a majority by pulling in independent and smaller groups. But let me be clear, on the 16th of June, the opposition will not be able to form a functioning administration in the Columbo Municipal Council.
A private member's bill to amend the Provincial Council's Elections Act, aiming to hold the Provincial Council elections, was presented to Parliament for its first reading today.
Parliamentarian Shanakyan Rasamanikam of the ITAC presented a private member's bill to Parliament proposing amendments to the Provincial Council's Election Act, which was taken up for its first reading.
Honourable Speaker, I present the Provincial Council's Election Amendment Bill. Thank you.
Parliamentarian M. Nizam Karyapar of the Sri Lanka Muslim Congress seconded the bill.
Honourable Speaker, 1988 අංක 2 දරන පළාත් සභා ඡන්ද විමසීම පනතේ සංශෝධන කිරීම සඳහා වූ කෙටුම්පත මම අනුමත කරන අතර සඳහා ඉදිරිපත් කරන ලද කෙටුම්පත මම ස්ථීර කිරීමට අවසර ලබා.
On to news from overseas now. Millions of Muslims around the world are observing Arafat Day, one of the most sacred dates in the Islamic calendar. The day holds a deep significance for pilgrims at Hajj and believers globally.
Arafat Day, observed on the 9th day of Dhu al-Hijjah, the final month of the Islamic lunar calendar, is considered the pinnacle of the Hajj pilgrimage. On this day, pilgrims gather at the plain of Arafat near Mecca in Saudi Arabia to pray, seek forgiveness and reflect on their faith. The standing at Arafat, known as Wukuf, is the central rite of Hajj. From noon to sunset, pilgrims assemble at Mount Arafat, where the Prophet Muhammad is believed to have delivered his final sermon. Missing this ritual invalidates the pilgrimage, underscoring its great importance. Muslims who are not on pilgrimage also observe Arafat Day with special significance. Many choose to fast since the Prophet Muhammad encouraged non-pilgrims to do so on this day. For Muslims, Arafat Day is not only a cornerstone of pilgrimage, but a powerful reminder of faith, humility, and the universal quest for divine mercy.
A draft resolution calling for an immediate and permanent ceasefire in Gaza failed to pass in the UN Security Council after the United States cast its veto, blocking the initiative backed by all 10 elected members of the Council. The text, co-sponsored by Algeria, Denmark, Greece, Guyana, Pakistan, Panama, the Republic of Korea, Sierra Leone, Slovenia and Somalia, collectively known as the E10, received 14 votes in favor, with the US casting the lone vote against.
The United States has vetoed a United Nations Security Council resolution that called for an immediate, unconditional and permanent ceasefire in Gaza, as Israeli strikes across the enclave have killed nearly 100 Palestinians in the past 24 hours amid a crippling aid blockade. The US was the only country to vote against the measure on Wednesday, while the other 14 members of the Council voted in favor. The resolution also called for the release of Israeli captives held in Gaza, but Washington said it was a non-starter because the ceasefire demand is not directly linked to the release of captives. In remarks before the start of the voting, acting US Ambassador Dorothy Shea made her country's opposition to the resolution.
The United States has been clear. We would not support any measure that fails to condemn Hamas and does not call for Hamas to disarm and leave Gaza. Israel has a right to defend itself, and it has taken numerous measures to limit harm to civilians and address humanitarian needs.
China's Ambassador Fu Kong said Israel's actions have crossed every red line of international humanitarian law and seriously violated UN resolutions. The failure of the resolution comes as the humanitarian crisis in Gaza deepens, with UN agencies warning of the total collapse of health services, growing displacement and rising death toll around the new privatized US-Israel-led aid distribution system which bypasses established agencies. Despite global demands for a truce, Israel has repeatedly rejected calls for an unconditional or permanent and ceasefire, insisting Hamas cannot stay in power nor in Gaza. It has expanded its military assault in Gaza, killing and wounding thousands more Palestinians and maintaining a brutal blockade on the enclave, only allowing a trickle of tightly controlled aid where famine looms. At least 95 Palestinians have been killed on Wednesday and more than 440 injured, according to health officials in Gaza.
The Attorney General yesterday filed indictments at the Hambantota High Court against Sachitra Senanayake over his alleged attempt to influence a player to fix a match during the Sri Lankan Premier League tournament held in 2020.
This is the first time that an indictment under the Prevention of Offences relating to sports was filed against a national cricket player in Sri Lanka. A spokesperson for the Attorney General's department said that this could be the first time that an indictment related to match fixing were filed against a national level cricket player in South Asia. There are 4 indictments filed against Sachitra. Number 1, requesting a player named Tharindu Ratnayaka, who played for the team Columbo Kings, not to report an attempt to solicit his support to fix a match made by a third party from the Mauritius island between the 21st and 22nd of November 2020 during the Sri Lanka Premier League played in Hambantota to the Anti-Corruption Unit of the International Cricket Council. Number 2, soliciting the player to fix the match. Number 3, providing advice to the player. And number 4, preventing a complaint being filed at the Anti-Corruption Unit of the International Cricket Council regarding communications between SIDE, an individual who has not yet been arrested, and a player named Tharindu Ratnayaka. Thereby, indictments were filed under Section 5C of the Prevention of Offences Relating to Sports Act No. 24 of 2019. The Anti-Sports Corruption Division in Sri Lanka arrested Sachitra Senanayake and produced him before the Colombo magistrate after a complaint was filed at the Anti-Corruption Unit of the International Cricket Council. The indictments were filed under the advice of the Attorney General and supervision of Additional Solicitor General Sumati Dharmawardana after analysing the forensic and other evidence in the case.
Sri Lanka's leading sanitary napkin brand Eva was officially relaunched with a new and improved product and packaging. The brand also highlighted its ongoing initiatives to combat period poverty, aiming to empower women and girls across the country. The event saw the presence of dignitaries, marking a significant moment for the brand.
And that's a wrap of Primetime News on TV1 for tonight.
Thank you for watching. Good night.